We're having some issues with the camera, so this is going to be an audio only. If you're watching on YouTube, sorry about that, guys, but we should have it fixed for next episode.
You ready?
No.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No.
All right. Let's do this.
That's how we live. Just live life on the edge. Living like Larry. And go.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to... I didn't, expect that, but when I looked over, I just stopped and let it...
I wish that you hadn't looked, because I was really hoping to catch you off guard.
Just hear it in my ear.
Yeah.
My one side that you come in on is... Welcome to episode 11 of Screenwoven. I'm Chris. This is Daniel. We're here to talk to you about things that are woven on the screen.
That's right. You know, we actually probably need to come up with some kind of I don't know,
Like a little opener, a little catchphrase.
I like what you said. Things that are woven onto the screen.
I mean,
like every thread in the tapestry of beautiful filmmaking.
That's way too serious for us.
That's true. We don't talk about serious movies here.
We like movies.
You know,
that could be our catchprise. I'm Chris, and this is Daniel. We like movies.
That's good. That's not bad.
I guess.
And we can have one of those little really fast talking disclaimers. Also, TV shows and sometimes novels and. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh man, side effects of listening to Chris and Daniel may include being bored to sleep,
a lower IQ. But not as low as Chris's. No, I'm just kidding.
You're safe. You're fine. It's okay.
The only reason I made that joke is because before we started recording, Chris was making jokes about how dumb he was. So,
well, I was making jokes about how dumb they think I am, not about how dumb I am.
Oh wait, were we recording when you said that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never mind.
But we said we were going to do a whole new intro. Because we went way too far in the first one. And I'm going to leave that dangling there just so y'all are always wondering, what'd they do?
Yeah.
What'd they do? Look, let's just say he had to get his shirt back on. It was a whole... He had a great intro plan, but it was...
Keep confusing this podcast with Raymond's podcast.
It went way too far. But it looks great now.
That's right.
Yeah, all the buttons done back up. It looks good, man.
The colors are back to normal.
Yeah, everything's back to normal.
The room is flipped right side up now.
Yeah,
so.
My head has stopped spinning.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness.
And your eyes are the right color again, so that's good.
Yeah, whenever they start glowing blue, that's when I go into the Avatar state.
I thought you were going to do a Sentry joke there, but I like what you did.
Well, his eyes didn't glow, did they?
They glowed yellow.
Well, yeah, I guess
you remember when
Void...
when they're first trapped in that thing, Walker pushes him up against the thing.
And
he goes,
that's true. They kind of flashed. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So we're still talking about the Thunderbolts today because
we're doing this is part 2. We've already reviewed the movie, so this is just us back and forth going, do you remember?
In that exact voice.
The whole time. The whole time. And I know what you're thinking. No, this is not like a condensed episode. This episode might be longer than normal.
That's right. Yeah.
But that was a great movie. And I'm really looking forward to seeing those guys again.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
And we will touch on a little bit of Marvel stuff today. I guess you could call it news. Some of it is news. Some of it's rumors, but potential news and things and such. But
news.
No. Since I already kind of made the reference, you want to touch on we got a new logo drop for the new animated Avatar movie.
Yeah.
The Legend of Aang, which my brother did not like. He did not like that.
He didn't like the title?
He didn't like the title because he's like, they just took The Legend of Korra and put Aang's name in it. I was like, but I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's on purpose because no one liked Korra. And everyone's like...
Are you sure no one liked it?
Well, okay. A lot of people did not like it. Some people liked it, but they're wrong.
Look, I'm not saying no one, but no one I'm going to talk to.
The first season of Korra was great. I loved the first season. The second season onward was total poo-poo. I mean, she just ended up becoming And she didn't even really succeed, quote unquote, in the first season, but they set it up to make it be like, oh, she's about to really come into her own. And then everything they did from season 2 onward, I absolutely hated. There were some things that they did to kind of like even out where I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, I guess. But overall, it just.
I've told you I haven't watched that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You haven't told me that.
Oh,
I mean,
I thought I had.
It's not like a it's not like you haven't seen Lord of the Rings or anything, so it's not quite that
at least
extreme.
I've seen Lord of the Rings. Good Lord.
But in all seriousness, though, it's not like an extreme, like, you haven't seen it? I was shocked because I thought you had.
Yeah, no, I started it at one point because I went on this thing where I was like, I want to rewatch Avatar. So I binged all of it on Netflix. And then I was like, you know what? I've never watched Korra. And I had heard you talk about it. My cousin had recently watched it, and he was having thoughts on it. And I was like, I kind of want to be able to throw my hat in the ring in these kinds of conversations, like right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I started it. And then I guess because I had watched all that Avatar, like I was already kind of burnt out on it. So I watched like maybe midway through the first season and just kind of fell off of it. But I remember not hating it. It was very different seeing that world in a time jump forward with like
that was one of my favorite things about the show.
Steampunkish technology and kind of like cars almost and things like that. It was interesting. It was interesting seeing airbenders being a thing again. Like they're like kind of back. That was cool. I remember that sticking out. I do remember that like
hold on, you didn't watch the third season, did you?
Mm-mm.
So how do you know that?
Because she goes to get trained for airbending.
Oh, well, she just goes to Tenzin, Aang's son.
Yeah, but he has like children, and they're all airbenders.
Well, yeah, but that's different than saying the whole Air Nation is back.
Well, I'm not saying like
I thought you were trying to say like I think I just spoiled season 3 for you, but
well, a smidge.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's been how long?
Yeah,
and I haven't watched it.
Do you care if I spoil the season for you?
Not really.
I mean, the series.
No, not
okay.
Really.
Can I tell you what happened?
Yeah.
Were you done talking?
I mean, I was just saying some things that I remember stuck out to me, but like that I didn't finish it was the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Let's talk because I do want to. We'll talk about this, and then we'll kind of go into the potential of this movie from there.
So the first season I thought was really good. One of the things that I liked about it that actually a lot of people didn't is they didn't like how every season Korra had a new villain and a new different type of problem to conquer, whereas in the first Avatar: The Last Airbender, it was one main storyline through the whole season. I really liked that. A lot of people didn't like it. I did because I thought it's different from, like, I don't want a whole nother epic end of the world type scenario or whatever. Because we've already had that. It ruins the stakes for the first season. To me, this is more of like, how does the world kind of progress after that with the next Avatar? And the first season did that very, very well. The villain in the first season was the coolest villain, and he's basically anti-bending. He wants to get rid of bending in the world because he thinks it's completely unfair that some people can bend and some people can't. And it brought up a lot of, like, we had debates with my friends about whether or not he was right. I thought he was wrong, and everyone's like, no, he's totally right. If a powerful bender just decides to bully you out of your seat or whatever, there's nothing you can do. And I was like, that's not true. There's people without bending in the whole series, including his whole army. They use these electric sticks or whatever, and he has the power to take people's bending away.
Oh, okay.
This guy does. I didn't mention that part.
Yeah, that's wild.
So his army is called Equalizers, and they use these electric stuff, and they're really good, really hard to catch, and they catch benders and take their power away. So they're working against their own argument because they're overpowering the benders, and they are not using bending.
Fair.
So, and like Ty Lee from the first season, she would take people's bending away with her, like, she would do this stuff.
Like block their chi or whatever with the pressure point stuff she did.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sokka, a lot of all or most of the Kyoshi warriors were like notably good fighters and didn't bend, from what I remember.
Right. And now, one caveat is I will say I've never liked that the world building in Avatar makes it so that some people cannot bend. I've never liked that. But
I mean,
well.
I think it makes sense. I think if you look at any IP that has like a powers in it, comic books, different cartoon, like there's always those with and those without powers. And the reason is because the ones with, it kind of gives them like a sense of responsibility. Well, it gives the good guys a sense of responsibility to protect the weak, and then it gives the bad guys the edge and the advantage to try and take control of things. I mean, there's always that. I mean, even in things like Ben 10, not everyone has an Omnitrix or whatever it's called. Things like Avatar. I had another good example, but I can't remember it.
I mean, I understand it, and there's a lot of examples like that, but I just don't like it. It's just a preference thing. It's not a deal breaker. I'm not like, I hate it, but
No. So, genuine question. So, you think it'd be better if everyone could bend in Avatar?
if everyone could, but not everyone wanted to. It's sort of like in real life. Like, we all have different strengths and abilities, but some of us don't take advantage of them. Some of us don't. Some of us are more entrepreneurial. Some of us are more people focused, stuff like that. And I think bending could have been seen as something like that. Some people are really gifted in martial arts and bending, and some people just don't pursue it. I think that would have been more interesting. But like I said, it's a small nitpick. I'm not like, I don't hate. Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of my favorite shows of all time. So, yeah,
I've just never thought of that. I mean, literally in any form, but especially in Avatar, never thought of that. I don't know if I'd like it.
Yeah. Well, you're wrong too.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah. Why am I so mean to you all the time? I did this last podcast too. Something about recently.
You must have been watching Spider-Man 3, Bully Maguire over here.
Next week, I just have the emo.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, what's going on?
Come on, man. You just come in snapping.
Everyone hated that. I loved it. Everyone thought
I hated it until I saw someone give a really good explanation of why he did it, which was that he's not cool.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Just because he gets the symbiote doesn't mean he's cool. It means he's going to try and portray what he thinks is cool, which would naturally be very corny and cheesy.
Exactly.
And I was like, you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense.
That's how I took it when I first saw it in theaters.
I never took it like that. I thought I always watched it as like, this is supposed to be like cool or intimidating. I don't get it. I mean, the hair, you look stupid, your outfit's stupid, you're moving stupid, everything you're doing is dumb. I don't get it. But then I could now, looking back, I can kind of see the vision, but I hated that scene for the long, like most people on the internet. Even now, knowing that example, it is still cringy. It is very cringy.
But I thought that was the purpose of it.
Right.
It came across as it's supposed to be like Peter Parker, the nerdy, not cool kid.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I got from it the first time I saw it, and I thought it was hilarious. But
Fair.
A lot of people hated it.
Fair. So Korra, you thought started off really strong.
Yeah.
Kind of downward decline as it.
Let me finish. I said I was going to spoil the series. So
yeah, go ahead, ruin it.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, they ruined it. I'm just
spoilies.
So, and I won't be super long on this, but basically in the first season, she has a really interesting villain. He takes away people's bending away, and then she finally encounters him, and she loses the fight, and he takes her bending away. But for some reason, she still has airbending because that's the one she's recently been learning, and so he's never taken bending away from an avatar before. So, and they're the whole time they're wondering what he did to do this because only Aang is the only person who's ever had the power to take someone's bending away. So, how did he do it? And there's this really cool. There's two really cool twists in that first season where you find out one of the bad guys is a bloodbender, and then you find out that he tries to bloodbend Amon, who's the villain, and Amon just walks straight through it as he's bloodbending him. And then he says, "Who are you?" And Amon says, "I am the solution." And boom, takes his bending away. Oh my gosh, so epic scene. The first season was really good. So you find out Amon is a bloodbender, and he uses that to rework people's inside so they can't take their bending away. So he takes Korra's bending away, and I'm like, what? You can't do that. And then The whole first season, she's portrayed as she's really good at bending. That's her strength, but she sucks with spiritual stuff. So like,
right, I remember because she needed to get more in touch with that for the airbending training, and she was doing terrible at it.
Yeah,
she went and like started participating in that like underground sports arena thing, just to do something that was more her speed or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I kind of remember that.
And I loved that about her. I thought that was an interesting
She's
character.
like a wild card.
Yeah.
Aang was immature, but like very in touch with the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
And so this was more, she was just like, like I'm the crazy kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she strikes me as the kind of person who would have killed Ozai. She would have
Oh, yeah.
She would have been like, oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But,
would you have?
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I knew you'd say yes.
Of course I would. I would have killed Kingpin, unlike Daredevil.
Oh, Kingpin. Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember. Who's Kingpin?
It's
an oddly Marvel name for an avatar.
Yeah, it's plagiarism. I know I said I wasn't going to be long. I'm trying to.
Well, I keep interrupting.
No, you're fine. That's the point of this podcast is.
I interrupt you.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We should rename it to that. No. So, they take Korra's bending away, but then I said that about her spiritual struggles because the way it ends is she's like really depressed because she feels like I'm not even the Avatar anymore, and then Aang shows up. He's like kind of in the spirit world, but kind of not. And then he touches her forehead and he gives her bending back and the ability to give everyone else their bending back that Amon took away. And I was like, whoa, like that, this into season 1, it's like, oh, she's about to be an amazing Avatar.
Aang's the GOAT.
He absolutely is. It was so cool. And then like, that was such a good
Roku
ending.
could never.
But that was such a good ending because like, it kind of, she overcame that spiritual struggle, you know? Then in the second season, they come up with a completely different backstory of Avatar. They completely rewrite the history of the world, and basically the Avatar is from the spirit called Rava. It's not from the past lives of the Avatar. The glow comes from the spirit of Rava, not the past lives. They just totally change it. And then the bad guy basically becomes this dark avatar by merging with a dark spirit. And then he kills Rava, temporarily, and severs her connection permanently from all the past avatars. And that's it. She's like resetting the Avatar. So she has no connection with Aang, none of the past avatars. She basically loses that fight terribly. And here's what ticked me off about it. It was mainly like a bending fight. And the whole time she's been portrayed as this super incredible bender who's weak in the spiritual side. The rest of the series, she loses so terribly in every bending fight. She is like the worst. Every single time an important fight shows up, she loses. Every time. And after every season, she sort of beats the villain, but usually the villain kind of gets beat for her. And then she suffers some kind of thing from that follows her for the rest of the series. In the third season, she gets poisoned, and that poison prevents her from getting in the Avatar state. In the fourth season, she tries to get in the Avatar state and then loses to a metal bender like that. Eventually, she beats her, but it's because of the spirit gun. It's not even because of her powers.
Spirit gun?
Oh yeah. So they changed the way the spirit world works in the second season 2. There's these portals that go in between the spirit world and the regular world. And the Avatar is kind of the bridge, but kind of not. They changed everything. And she doesn't have the connection to the past lives. She loses. The third season is the most depressing season ever. She gets poisoned. She sort of defeats Zahir. And then she's just sitting in a wheelchair like this, looking into the camera at the end of it. Like, she's just completely demoralized. That's the end of season 3.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy to end like a season like that for a kid's show.
Yeah.
I mean, even knowing that you're going to have a somewhat older audience because a lot of the people who watched Avatar are going to tune in for it, but still, that's pretty heavy.
It sucks because at the end of the first season, like when she lost her bending, that really sucked. But then she got something even like it was used to grow her into the next phase of her Avatar.
She got nerfed
journey
to get buffed.
Exactly. Yeah, and she got even more powerful. And then she
kind of
sucked.
overcame a flaw in that because, like you said, she had to get more in touch with the spiritual realm to do it.
Yeah.
And wasn't it you who told me like a long time ago that like in this show, they really make the Avatar state feel like it's not as powerful?
100%.
Okay, I thought
That's
that
actually
was you
the
who told me
thing.
that.
In the metal bending fight, actually, I think what I remembered is she actually finally was able to go Avatar state. It did nothing to help her.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Every time the arrows glowed in Avatar, you knew it. That's
was
game.
over. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
game. You're done.
That's the whole point of the Avatar
Matter of fact,
state.
even if you're on his team, you better run.
Yeah.
Because you're not safe here.
Yeah.
You're not safe. You remember when they got him into the fire temple to talk to Roku,
Mhm.
and then Roku used him to burn the temple down because all the soldiers were in it.
Yeah.
And even Katara, Sokka, the guy who helped, they were all in there. Run. You're
Yeah.
not okay here. Like,
right.
yeah, now that's wild to go Avatar state and lose a fight.
Mhm.
I don't think that ever happened in Avatar.
No,
I don't
never
think
once.
that ever happened.
Well, there's one small example. In the second season at the end, he finally learns how to go Avatar state on demand and on command, I mean. And then as he's going up, Azula strikes him. But that was a unique situation. She just caught him at just the right time.
I was gonna
and
say,
she was
like,
preparing for it.
Yeah, to be fair, that was more to show Azula as a huge threat than it
Yeah.
was to show the Avatar state as weak. Because like you said, I think the whole point of that was she knew when to hit him.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't fully in fight mode. Like I'm all the way in Avatar state. He was rising up. She did it before, because if she didn't, they'd be toast anyway.
Yeah.
So she knew when to do it or whatever. I do remember that. That was when they were in that cave, right? Like
Yeah.
Katara heals or
Yeah.
tries to heal Zuko, but she ends up having to heal Aang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Oh, and by the way, apparently airbenders can fly now. They can just totally fly. Just without anything. They can just float.
I mean, that is a change. I don't hate that. I mean,
I wouldn't hate it if it wasn't for everything else that they did. It was just got more ridiculous.
yeah,
and it's
like it'd be
come
one
on.
of those things where it's like, I actually think that makes sense with the time jump, that now that there's more airbenders coming back, it would make sense that they found new things to do with it,
Yeah.
especially because the old airbenders were portrayed as monks who probably didn't like push the bounds of their bending a whole
Yeah.
lot. So and as like revolutionary as Aang was portrayed to be, I could totally see a world where like after Aang like has time to just chill and he's beaten the Fire Lord and could just work on his craft. Yeah, I could see him find a way to just fly without his staff. I could totally see
Aang
that.
didn't do that.
Oh,
yeah.
How do they learn that?
Okay, so this is another big thing that they did. There's two cool things about Korra. The coolest things were the villains. The villains were super interesting.
It sounds like it.
All of them were really interesting in how their dynamics. The second thing was Tenzin. He was a really interesting character because he felt this responsibility that the entire recreation of the airbending nation was on his shoulders, and he always felt that weight. That's a really interesting character. So what happens in season 2, after the spirit portal thing and Korra loses her connection, it does something in the spirit world where it randomly gives a huge percentage of the population all over the world airbending abilities. So the airbending comes back, and Zahir, the villain for the 3rd season, is this imprisoned criminal who got airbending abilities and
oh wow,
secretly worked on it and busted himself out. And he was this like kind of monkish type guy anyway. He was really into and he was an anarchist, so he wanted to get rid of all the governments in the world. And
okay, they put some serious work in the villains. Every
Yes.
single one of the 3 villains you've told me about, I'm like, that's crazy cool.
yeah, super cool. The best thing about Korra, and he was the one who learned how to fly because
Oh,
spent-
that's cool too.
Yeah.
That's cool that they make him the guy who learns that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So he does it in the last fight after he poisons Korra. He just starts flying, and they're like, "What?" And so, yeah, they did a really good job with the villains in Korra, and it's
God,
really disappointing.
That's an aura farming moment right there. You just start flying.
Yeah.
All right.
And now that I'm even talking about it with you, it's like that probably could have been really, really cool if the rest of the show
Right.
had
Like,
done-
it sounds to me like this show was like like super dope, but just hindered by some changes to the original that had no problems that kind of ruined the trajectory of this one.
That and Korra, she's just a terribly written character. She was interesting in the first season.
Well, I was going to say,
they completely destroyed her.
It feels like even that could have been handled. I mean, they handled it well in the first season, you said. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they prove she can be a well-written character. I don't know if maybe there was some changes between the first and second season behind the curtains, maybe. Who knows?
I don't know.
But that is one thing that I am really excited about for the movie is that those original two dudes who did Avatar, and I'm pretty sure Korra, or at least most of Korra, they've been given their own like whole studio now, and it's just an Avatar studio. They're working on like all these projects. They got this movie, the Aang Gang movie, and then they're working on like another theatrical release that's going to be about like the next Avatar, and he's like an Earthbender, or are they twins? He's either they're twins or he's an Earth. Anyway, I don't remember.
Yeah, and he's an Earthbender.
There's like a lot going on,
and there's
with that.
the technology advancement, like what happened in Korra, is going to be the same except like double.
Yeah,
they're going to have a lot of technology.
further in time. Yeah,
I'm not really looking forward to that one, but we'll see.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, first and foremost, I need to see the Aang one because I'm gonna be honest with all the changes that you said they made in Korra. If that stays canon and they just change that for the Aang movie too, even that one might not be great.
Yeah.
Now, if they've realized that like the fan base didn't love the direction they were going and they're trying to like revert some things and like this is the new canon moving forward, then I'll have a lot of faith not only in that movie but also in the next one until they give me a reason to be like, maybe not. But I'm interested to see an Avatar that starts off as an Earthbender and see where it goes. Again, until they give me reason to not trust them, then I'll be like, okay, well, I'll probably still check it out in some way, shape, or form, but I'm not going to go into it with like high hopes or anything.
Yeah.
I am pretty excited about the Aang one, though, because as powerful as he was in the show, to see him and the rest of them as adults, I think is going to be really cool.
That was another thing that Korra. Oh my god! So in the first.
Oh my god!
in the first season,
Daniel's about to have a heart attack.
I am because I'm so angry with what they did at Korra. And I like that they're calling it Legend of Aang because I think they're trying to allude to that they're trying to correct some of the problems.
They may be.
But one of the things in the first season is they kind of studied the history and started having these flashbacks of Aang and like the person who basically put Amon up, like who raised up Amon to be the bad guy. Mm-hmm. So you got to see Aang as an adult and like he was already more powerful. And I was like, man, the Aang and Korra, like Roku to Aang thing is going to be epic. In the second season, there was none. Not only was there none of it, they just completely took away.
Yeah, actually, you're just not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they kind of used him to save the first season, so they were probably like, we need to write ourselves into a corner where we can't use him like that this time.
Well, but they don't. I don't know how to do words, but
that's going to be a problem for the rest of the show.
Yeah, but they did that with Roku in really good ways because, like Roku, for instance, in the summer solstice, he came in and like he burned down the whole temple. But that was only because of certain scenarios. Like it had to be the summer solstice, which was the longest day of the year, and it could only be in that one spot.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they handled it perfect. I'm just saying maybe that's what they were going for, is like trying to not just lean on it, like let Korra be her own thing. And it sounds like they didn't do it well. I'm not saying they did it well. I'm just saying that might have been what they were going for.
Yeah, I see that.
And I'm cool with that. Like you said, I don't just need just Avatar all over again. Like, give me something different. So I'm cool. And there were times in Avatar where Aang, for different reasons here and there, got cut off from the spirit world. So I mean, that makes sense too. Mm-hmm. And I think that makes for a villain that can cut the Avatar off from the spirit world. That's cool if the rest is handled well. Like you said, you keep saying it kind of in different ways, and it's like it seems like the main issue was like, there were some really cool concepts that had they been handled with like a little more care for like the past show and the lore, and just maybe just thought through a little bit more, just like the writing just hit like land. Cause like, it's like they hit the jump and then they didn't stick the landing, is what it sounds like. Like a lot of really cool concepts that just didn't quite end well.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
So when you said the thing about her sitting in the wheelchair, is that the end of the show?
No, that's the end of the 3rd season.
How many seasons are there? Because
4.
Avatar. Oh, okay.
So the end of the last season, they did a really big political stunt, which ticked me off. I'm not going to talk about it, but the creators even came out and said, "Yeah, it's what you thought it was," and I was like, "Okay, great." So, anyways, they did that, and then they basically Korra and this other girl go into the spirit world to live there forever. And yeah.
So she just leaves. The physical realm.
She's just like, I pretty much screwed everything up, and I'm retreating.
She pulled a Kvoth?
Pretty much. That's not how they were trying to write it, but that's what it basically is. I don't think that they would say that's what she did. But
so is the world in like chaos?
Pretty much. The spirit
what did she do?
So it all stems from what she did in the 2nd season, where she kind of opened these portals to the spirit world and then kept them open. So the spirits and people live together. And also, Avatar 1, the first Avatar, his story was really cool. Like, they could have done a whole series about him, but they completely destroyed the lore. So you remember in the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender, he meets this lion turtle.
I'm sorry. Pause real quick. The first Avatar's name was Juan?
Yeah. 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 A little dumb.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, in the 2nd season, she goes back and learns the story of the first Avatar.
Okay.
And that's where they completely ruin the whole past lives thing. So, and they also ruined a lot of other things. So, do you remember the lion turtle that helped Aang figure out how to energy bend to get rid of Fire Lord Ozai's power?
The big island.
Yeah.
Yeah. That terrified me a little bit.
Yeah, it's horrifying. He told Aang, in the days before the Avatar, we bent not the elements, but the energy within ourselves. And then he gives him that power. In Avatar 1, that completely reversed. So there's no Avatar, and basically the wilds is where the spirit people are, and all the people live on lion turtles and they all bend elements. So certain lion turtles have airbenders, certain lion turtles, but the lion turtles give you the ability to bend. So you get the ability to go out into the wilds where the spirits are to help you defend yourself against the spirits. And the spirits are pretty creepy.
I will say they always nailed that.
Yeah.
Every spirit I can remember, the face stealer.
Oh yeah.
The panda thing that destroys the town at night in that one episode. Like, all the spirits I remember are horrific.
Yeah. Yeah. They did a really good job. And they did a good job with that in Korra too.
Well, good. At least they maintained that.
But that completely poops over the story, because the lion turtle said, well, we used to, before the Avatar, we didn't bend the elements. But apparently they did. So either the lion turtle was lying, or...
Well, maybe the implication there is that,
don't try to save it.
No, I'm trying to think through it. And I mean, maybe I'll say it and you'll be like, no, that's not at all for sure what they meant. Or you might be like, maybe. I haven't seen it, so this is just me talking. But maybe the implication was that, they didn't view it as bending element, like you said, they had to be on the lion turtles, they gave them the power to do it. Maybe the implication is that they were giving them the energy to bend elements to protect them.
That's a stretch though, because the way it worked is they didn't even talk about energy bending in the season 2.
That's fair.
They just, and you didn't have the bending when you were on the turtle. You left and went to the turtle and got the bending so you could go out into the wild, but then you had to go give it back. So the bending was given, which also doesn't make sense why some people have bending and some people don't, because apparently everyone could have gotten bending.
Well, back then when they were all on the lion turtles, but maybe because the world has moved away from the spirituals or whatever, now not everyone can bend.
It's possible, but they didn't explain any. It just
was
all this stuff left
clearly
up in the air.
Again, cool concept.
Yeah.
Oh wow, everyone used to bend?
Yeah.
And didn't no explanation.
Yeah.
No world building there of well, as we got further into technology and having homes and this and that, a lot of people moved away from the spirit. That would have been a really cool thing. And then you also could have maybe even introduced a thing where you've got a group of overly spiritual, almost like a cult as another villain. I mean, it just would have opened the door for other things. Again, really cool concept, didn't stick the landing. I like the fact that it showed not only everyone used to bend, but it was a temporary, like you go get it
Yeah.
to go do what you need to do, and then you give it back.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I'm with you. There's a lot of cool concepts, and I thought that was cool too. And Avatar 1's story was kind of interesting too. But then it became he wanted to make the spirits and humans work together, so he used this spirit called Rava, who basically entered him and helped him contain the power of all the elements. He went to different lion turtles and got bending, but Rava was the one who gave him the ability to do it. But since his body dies, she goes and chooses another avatar to like help continue the legacy and keep balance. So yeah, I mean, and you could have even explained it by saying Rava is all of the past lives or something. I don't know. Like, I think you worded it pretty well. A lot of cool concepts, but there wasn't enough thought through. I don't even remember why I was telling you that.
I think it's safe to say we're both cautiously optimistic for the movie.
Yeah, that's basically all.
It's like, we'll see. Yeah. Like, I hate to just leave it at that after all that, but like, I don't know. Like, that worries me a little because I don't know.
That explains why you had a different reaction than I did. Because you texted it to me.
Well, and you thought it was a live action.
That's also very true.
Yeah. Which, did you watch that on Netflix?
Yeah, I stopped after the second episode.
It wasn't good?
The first episode was really good. And then the second episode, they crapped all over the... Now, the original creators left that show.
Yeah, in the middle of the, like, yeah.
Yeah.
What did they do in that? We don't have to stay on this too much longer, but now I'm curious to know.
We're talking about the new Legend of, Aang thing right now. So this is good stuff to talk about because it's like, not like anyone listens to the show, but
well, they will now.
I hope more people talk about it because I want the creators and people to hear like what they didn't like about the other stuff,
right?
So that they take that into consideration when making this moving forward. But Roku isn't Aang's main mentor. Kyoshi is, which doesn't make any sense at all because she's 2 avatars behind him.
Yeah,
and he goes to this he goes to Kyoshi Island, and you remember in the show, like the Firebenders attack, and he has to help save them.
Yeah.
Well, they basically try to combine the summer solstice and that episode, except it was Kyoshi, not Roku, who showed up, and he just goes to the statue and connects with Kyoshi, and Kyoshi just shows up and starts doing stuff. It wasn't even that good, and then Aang said something like, "Yeah, apparently I can only do that when I'm in a trance," and I was like, that's the dumbest explanation. So you can just go into a trance and have Kyoshi show up? Like, when Roku showed up, it was only during the summer solstice, and you had to be in that specific spot at a very specific time for that to happen. So stuff like that, and none of the stuff made sense that they were talking about, and also the acting was not very good.
Well, that's disappointing. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's been out for like over a year, and I haven't watched it, but that is disappointing.
Like I said, the first episode was really, really good. And my brother watched the whole thing. He said the first and last episodes are both really good. But he said, especially when I got to episode 5, he said they completely rewrote the story to the point where he doesn't even like it.
I don't know what it is about this IP that's like they struck gold.
I know.
With the original show, and you'd think it's such a solid, easy concept to almost be formulaic, and it's like they cannot recapture. And honestly, of all the like video games and cartoons and like all these things that people try to adapt, I would think this would be one of the easiest ones to adapt because it's just martial arts with like throw in some CGI fire, like good looking, but CGI fire and earth and air and stuff. I mean, like it doesn't even feel like it'd be that hard.
I know.
You don't got to change much. It's a great story.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. That's ridiculous.
I've never even like put it into words like that, but that's my frustration with it too. That makes it's like, yeah, why is it so hard?
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's not crazy CGI. In like the first movie in 2010 that came out.
Yeah, let's let's
Dude,
not.
the way the waterbender, like, kicks the water, you know what I'm talking about? The little water ball?
Not really. The main things I remember from that movie are being immediately mad about the fact that firebenders had to like launch fire rocks to wherever they were going to station at so that they could use fire from it. They couldn't create fire. And then the scene in the jungle where they like tried to do the episode where they like free the earthbenders, and like it takes like 5 of them doing like a dance routine to move slowly move a rock, and I'm like, it's not even moving. Like if the fire people wanted to, they could just move out of the way. It's just like floating by them.
So that scene is actually worse than what you're describing, because they weren't moving the rock. It's like the camera, it was shot really poorly. That's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But it moved to someone else who then shot the rock. So someone else was picking up the rock.
But it took like a lot of them to move it.
No. It was just one person moving it.
Oh, I don't remember that. I remember it being like a group of them, and I'm like, why?
Well, but here's why that makes it even more dumb. The group was doing nothing but dancing. That's all they were doing. They were just dancing, going, wah, and then then it switches to some other guy who's moving.
So I did see a group of dudes doing that.
Yes.
It's just they didn't have anything to do. Okay.
And the firebenders were watching the rock slowly move and doing nothing.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was so bad.
My gosh, yeah, that movie was terrible. And the funny thing is, when I saw the teaser trailer for the first time, do you remember that?
Yeah,
Aang is like meditating in a cave with all these candles.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden he like senses something and he starts airbending out all the flames. I was like, oh my gosh, and then it like pans out and all the Fire Nation ships.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks awesome.
I know,
like I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like remembering seeing that for the first time on a giant screen, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting an Avatar movie.
Yeah.
And then we went and saw it as a family, and the first thing out of their mouths was Aang, and I was like, wrong.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. This is terrible. What is this?
I know.
Sokka, Aang. And then all the terrible bend. I mean, it was awful, man.
Yeah, it was so bad.
So
I was in
bad.
denial throughout the whole movie. My brother and I both went and saw it together. And the whole time we were thinking, no, the movie's really good. I get why they're trying this, and until the wave at the end, he does this little dance and picks up this really big wave
and just pushes the ships that way.
We should take these ships
and push them somewhere else.
And I at that point I was mad. And then my brother and I were both really quiet. And as we left the theater, we finally just went, the movie was awful.
Terrible.
Oh, it was so disappointing.
We'll move on from the Avatar world. That we'll see. Everyone, we'll see. I think Daniel and I are both huge fans of the original IP. I think that's something we'll definitely go see together. But that we'll see.
Oh yeah, and I did want to, because you mentioned. So here's how you texted me that, and you said, "Dude, they're coming out with this." I had already seen it, and I was furious, and I texted you in all caps. I was like, I'm so tired of them ruining this franchise. It's been ruined so many times. And then you said, well, the fact that it's not live action gives me hope. And I was like, oh, it's not. It's animated?
So you didn't know at all that it was going to be animated?
No, I thought it was live action. I didn't even read it. I just saw it and went, I went Avatar state when I saw it.
It's just animated, but they're older.
Yeah.
So hopefully very difficult to screw up.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
It
should be very easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. So we'll move on to some other things here. So I did last night go with my brother, my wife, a buddy of mine and his wife to all go see the new live action Lilo and Stitch. That happened. So next topic.
Can I guess whether you liked it or not?
Yeah, go ahead.
It was terrible.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, I will. So here's what I'll say. And I'm torn. I really want to talk about it, but also on the flip side of it, I'm like, first of all, you didn't go see it, so
you can spoil it for me.
Not that I'm worried about spoiling it, but I really wish I had just been like, the reason I didn't invite, and I told you this yesterday, but for backstory, I didn't think you'd give a crap about this at all. I don't think you do.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm not like super interested in
Well,
it.
I know both of our takes on the live action. You are way more strict about. You're like, I'm done with remakes. I'm done with adaptations. I'm done with sequels. Give me something fresh.
Yeah.
Not that you won't go see some of that stuff, but like you're way more like on that side of the line about it than I typically am. I'm getting more and more on that side of the line as these lackluster live actions and remakes and sequels come out. Like it is wearing me down and pushing me over there. I'm all for redoing something if you think you can do it better, or adapting something if you think you can do it better. But yeah, I'm sick of getting my hopes up with these really well done trailers. Honestly, whoever's doing these trailers needs a raise because they are getting people in these seats. And they are really selling a product that is not as good as the trailer, usually. And, so it's gotten to the point where, like, a lot of the newer ones, I just won't go. I didn't go see either of the Lion King live actions. I didn't go see Little Mermaid live action. I didn't go see, what was the other big one that came out not long ago?
The Godfather?
Yeah, remember when they live action at it? Yeah. There was another one, but I can't remember. Anyway, I haven't been going to see a lot of them because I'm like, you know what? I'm Snow White. That was the other big one.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go see any of those. Mulan was another one I didn't go see. And the bottom line is, it's because I give these things a chance to come out and just at least hear the reviews first. And it's always the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's the same movie, but also different. They add stuff and take stuff out. And then, like, like with a movie like Lion King, that's such a classic movie because it's got so much, like, it's so vibrant and it's got so much, like, life and color. And then you look at the trailer for the live action one, it almost looks like they're in a desert. There's no color. The fact that they made them look like real lions for some reason, I'm like, why? I mean, they're already CG. Why do they need to just make them look a little more like the movie? That's what people liked. I don't care that they're real looking lions. I care that they look kind of cute and they're fun and they're singing and there's some comedy in there. They strip all of the fun from these movies. It's like Mulan. Do you know Mulan? Iconic music, like,
oh yeah,
Make a Man Out of You, A Girl Worth Fighting For, like all gone. They did no music in the live action Mulan. I don't know if you knew that.
No,
they did no music, and
I don't hate that though personally.
I do.
I didn't even see the movie for the same reasons you did, but
the thing of it is, for me, they took out all the music and Mushu. He's not even in the movie. No Mushu.
How can you have Mulan without Mushu?
The Hun dude, what's his name? The bad guy.
Oh yeah,
he's like a Hun.
I forget his name.
Oh my gosh,
It's
even in the song. Yeah. He anyway, you remember in the movie he had that like falcon that would always be on his in the movie. That's like a transfiguring like witch who like bestows him power and stuff, and she like transforms in battles and fights with him and stuff. It's like a completely different movie. It's like a completely different movie, but they called it Mulan just so Disney could slap their sticker on it and sell it as Mulan live action. No songs, no Mushu, weird witch falcon lady, like all this stuff.
Still better than the new Falcon and Captain America.
I'm just kidding. You hated that movie.
I'm just kidding. No, I didn't.
I know. I'm saying if you say it's better than that, you hated that movie. But anyway, like that, I hate that. Like, I'm going to watch these movies because they're fun, whimsical. Yeah, maybe a little corny, but like that's old Disney. Like old Disney animations were musicals. That's what they were. So yes, if you're doing a live action, I'm sorry to inform you, director, writer, actors, whoever, you're making a musical just with like a different skin on it than, maybe like a Hairspray or whatever. But it's like they're all ashamed of that. They don't want any of that in it. I'm like, well, then go do a different movie. Why are you ruining Lion King? That's such an iconic name. Like, just the title. Why? Why are we doing this? Anyway, all that to say, I've gotten really worn out on a lot of these. So I honestly went into this Lilo and Stitch one. Again, trailer, loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, this actually looks kind of cute. Like, this actually looks like they watched Lilo and Stitch and then they tried their absolute best to like put that on the screen with real people in it instead of like just stripping all the color out of it and making it look way too hyper photorealistic, and like Stitch looks like a little furry, fuzzy, cartoony alien. Like he doesn't just, look like a koala or something. So I was like, oh man, great trailer. I was like, I'm probably not going to see it. Well, then my wife was like, I really want to go see it. I was like, okay, well, I guess we're going to see it. So we made this plan. Could not have worked out better for me. My brother has never seen the original.
Oh.
So he came over a little bit before we left for the movie, and we sat and watched the original before we left.
Oh, I kind of wish you wouldn't have done that. I would have liked to have heard the perspective from someone who hadn't seen the...
Well,
but I know why you did.
I thought about that too, but I could not live with the fact of the possibility that he could walk out of that movie and like it better than the animated one.
That's fair.
And a lot of times what I've noticed with people is like what you show them first is what they prefer. I don't know why. I've always noticed that with people. Like you go to show them like, oh, check out these 2 songs or 2 whatever. The first one they always like more. I don't know why. It's just a pattern I've noticed.
Well, I think it depends, because if I showed someone the last Airbender movie and then I showed them the series, I still think they would like. But I get what you're saying.
There's
though.
exceptions for everything.
Yeah.
That's hyperbolic exception. That's like way out there. But yeah, you're right. I mean, clearly there's a quality difference there. I will say this movie was not bad. It was not bad. Now, there were things in it I didn't love, but I did learn something on the way here. I was listening to another review about the movie just to see what another guy that I follow says, and he brought up some things I didn't know. This was originally going to be a straight to Disney Plus, not a theatrical release. So in its original photography stage, like filming, post, all that, it had a much smaller budget than all the other. I think the closest live action that it had to it was either Beauty and the Beast or Snow White. This movie had like $100 million budget, and the next closest one was like $204 million. Little Mermaid had like 240 or 50 million. Like all the other ones were like way more than double the budget. This one had less than half the budget of those and was a way better movie. Way better movie. But it did hurt the movie. So first of all, biggest change that I could not get behind. That's kind of tied. We'll start with this. They cast Zach Galifianakis as Jamba. So not only does he voice him, but through a large portion of the movie, they're disguised, but not like how they are in the cartoon where they just wear costumes. They have like technology that disguises them to look like humans, and he just walking around as Zach Galifianakis in the movie. Could not get behind that. I don't know how much. Did you ever watch Lilo and Stitch?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Jamba has like that heavy, like rush in that. Like he's sounds nothing like Zach Galifianakis.
Well, do you think, because I don't mind the technology thing, but do you think if they had cast someone who's better for that role, that technology thing wouldn't have bothered you as much?
I could get behind, especially knowing the budget thing. I could get behind the whole, we're not going to CG them through the whole movie, so we're going to have to use the technology excuse thing. I could get behind that if the person that they cast at least kind of looked a little heftier and had more of a voice that fits that character. Yeah. Just could not. And why'd you have to go with someone so notable? If you're going to do that, at least go with a no-name that could maybe kind of do their own thing with it and like really shine. But it's like, that is Zach Galifianakis. I'm looking at Zach Galifianakis. Yeah. Like that totally took me out of the movie. The guy who did Pleakley was a little more acceptable. I think I've seen him in stuff before. I couldn't really like put my finger on what or where, but he was actually kind of doing his own rendition of like the original Pleakley voice. Like he was trying to mimic that voice, those mannerisms. I could get behind that.
Yeah.
Zach Galifianakis' Jamba could not get behind that. So that was one. Two, no Gantu.
Really?
No Gantu. He does not exist in the movie.
Yeah, that's a shame.
So what happens is, you know how in the original, Pleakley and Jamba go to Earth, and they're there to capture Stitch, and they're kind of like partners, but they're like trying to go by the Federation's laws, so they're trying to blend in. They can't be too aggressive because they can't hurt the people. Blah blah blah. And then near the end, when they haven't caught him yet, the councilwoman sends in Gantu. She fires Jamba and Pleakley. So they're both just like, they're going to go to prison and they're fired. Like they're off the job and they're going to get captured as well. Well, in this one, she made a deal with Jamba for his freedom for Stitches, and sent Pleakley with him, kind of like in the original, to kind of watch over him and like make sure he does what he's supposed to. Well, whenever they haven't caught him yet, she reneges on her deal with Jamba, takes that back, and then instead of firing Pleakley too, she deputizes him to arrest Jamba to take him in. So it pits them against each other, and Jamba becomes the last act villain. And so he goes to he becomes Gantu. He goes to capture Stitch and, blah, 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 which is stupid because if you've watched the other movies and then even the TV show that came out, Jamba, becomes one of their friends. He lives with them and all that stuff after the first movie. So I hated that. I hated that Zach Galifianakis was doing him. I hated no Gantu. Agent Bubbles, Cobra Bubbles.
Yeah.
They split his role into two people. So in the original, he's a social worker who you find out at the end of the movie was in the CIA in the late 70s, early 80s, and had dealings with aliens. And it's like a cute little joke that the councilwoman's like, you look familiar. It's oh, so aliens have been coming to Earth, and he's dealt with it because he was in CIA. It's all, and it kind of adds to the lore of the movie. Okay, he's been around. That's why he's not freaking out right now. Well, currently in that movie, he's a social worker, which is how he gets tied in with Lilo and Nani. In this movie, there's a lady that is the social worker, and she's actually, I will say it's a cool Easter egg because the lady who's the social worker is the actress who voice acted Nani in the original. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But what happens is, bless you.
Sorry.
What happens is, man, I wish we had videos so they could have seen your headphones pop off your head and land back on when you sneeze.
Those were my ears.
See, now we can just lie because they can't see us.
Yeah. I like this. Maybe we should stick with this.
But they split the characters. So there's a social worker and it's this lady. And then Bubbles is looking into this spacecraft that they find, which was Stitch, that crash landed. And he tracks him somehow to Lilo and Nani's house and taps their phone and hears them talking and realizes that they have this blue dog. And so he's like, okay, I'm going undercover. So he goes undercover as a social worker to get involved with them. But
if they're going to make him go undercover anyway,
I was like, why did we do all this for him to end up in the same thing?
Yeah, that's dumb.
So didn't love that. Also in the anime, and you can't always help this.
Do you think that they just did that so that they could have a way for the original voice actress to have a part?
It's funny you say that because I was going to say maybe, but then I realized, let me also add, well, real quick, I'll say what I was going to say, then I'll jump to that.
Okay.
I know you can't always help this, but in the animated movie, Cobra Bubbles was really intimidating.
Yeah.
Very large frame, real deep voice, always wore the sunglasses, he was intimidating.
Yeah.
The guy they got to play him in this movie is an older dude, not that big, not that deep of an intimidating voice. He just did not pose an intimidating kind of threat in any way, shape, or form. He's kind of just an old guy. So I was like, all right. kind of took all his aura away. So moving to, you said, did you think they did that just to give her that cameo or whatever? Interesting thing you say that, because they literally add a whole new original character in the movie that's not in the original, in the animated one, that she could have been. And it actually would have made more sense to make her be that character than the social worker, because what it is, it's a whole new character, and it's David, the surfer fire spinner dude, is like got a crush on Nani.
Yeah,
it's like, at least the way they portray it, it's like his mom or his grandmother or something. And in this movie, they're like neighbors with Lilo and Nani. They're right there. And so she plays like this almost like elderly mother figure type to Nani and Lilo. And by the way, it's a little late to say this, I guess, but spoilers for this movie. I mean, it really is almost beat for beat the original, which came out in 2002. So
yeah,
I mean, whatever. But I guess spoilers for the new Lilo and Stitch. She literally plays like a motherly figure to Nani and Lilo, which two things there. One, would have made so much more sense to have the original Nani just be that role.
Yeah.
First of all, it's like the wink wink connection to David.
Yeah.
Because they're like somehow related, and then in the original they were like dating. And then also for the fact that it would have made sense for the original Nani to almost play like the motherly figure to this Nani and Lilo.
Yeah.
Would have just worked so much better, in my opinion. But instead, they make her a social worker so that they can also make Cobra a social worker when he could have just been a social worker.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, didn't love that. And the other thing is, with the added character, in the original movie, you really feel for Nani, because, like, they have no one. All she really has is David, it feels like, and she doesn't feel like she has time to really do anything with that relationship, because she's watching her sister and just trying to keep their life together, and it feels so much more hectic and chaotic. She feels like a grown woman with a baby sister, when in reality, yeah, she probably was in like her late teens in the animated movie, but like she always, like even watching it yesterday, and I'm in my 30s now, like she felt like a grown woman who had a little baby sister or like a daughter. That relationship was so much more, the line was so much more blurred in the animated movie. In this one, I don't know if you've seen who they cast, but like she literally looks like a teenager. Like she looks like she's 18, maybe 19. And the girl they got to play Lilo is like, I don't know.
11?
No.
You way younger?
Yeah. Like
6?
6, 7. Yeah. Like old enough to talk and run around and walk and stuff, but like kind of messes up words sometimes and things like that. And I don't want to be overly critical. First of all, this was that little girl's first movie. And second of all, she's very young.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and be like, she did terrible. I mean, that she did really good, all things considered. But like I saw someone review this and talking about how she had great comedic timing. Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. No. The original Lilo and Stitch had so much better comedic timing, like on so many things. One of my favorite scenes from that movie is when Jamba and Pleakley finally catch Stitch in the woods and they handcuff him. And Nani's freaking out because Gantu has Lilo on the ship. Like Stitch escaped, but Lilo is like currently flying into space. And he's trying to help Nani. They capture him. And then they're about to leave. And it's like this real emotional moment. And Nani's like, that's my little sister, blah, blah, blah. And it's like really wrenching. She's like begging for help, even though she has no idea what's going on. And Stitch in his little like language says something to Jamba. And he's like, what? You expect after everything for me to just help you just like that? And he's like, He goes, okay. And he goes to unlock him, and Pleakley's like, what? We're doing what he says. He goes, he's very persuasive. Like that's fun. That's hilarious. And the timing is perfect. there's another scene in this. You know the scene where Lilo wakes Nani up, and she's in bed, and she's like wakes her up. She's like, "What?" And they're standing there with the record player, and she puts Stitch's claw on it. And in the animated one, she's just like mouth agape, like has no words for the moment. Like, what is going on? In this one, Lilo brings Stitch into the kitchen. She didn't even wake her up. She's awake. She's at the table. She's like working on bills or something. And Lilo's like, look at this. Look. And she does the thing and like opens his mouth and closes it open. And Nani's like, yeah. And she's like on her phone scrolling.
Wow.
And Lilo's like, did you see it? You didn't even look. She's like, yeah, that's wild. And then she like leaves. That's not funny. It's funny for her to be like, what? Yeah. Like, just have no words for it. It's not funny for her to just ignore her little sister she's supposed to be so, obsessed with and taking care of for a text and then run out of the house. Like that.
Maybe it's more realistic, but
I mean, yeah.
I was trying to make a dark joke, but
no, I mean, you're not even necessarily wrong. But the thing is, I think the original movie is very realistic.
Yeah, I do too.
That relationship of like the stress of her having to take care of her, and it makes them bicker like children because they are and they're siblings. But then like she also then she gathers herself and realizes like I'm like the only adult here, and I have to like watch over her, and like she goes and brings her pizza and blah blah. Like, I'll put it like, the best thing I can say is this: in the original movie, there's like probably 4 or 5 times throughout that movie that every time I watch it, yesterday included, from the first time I saw it when I was in like elementary school to the last time I've seen it recently, which was yesterday, every time I watch it, 4 or 5 moments that just make me literally, my eyes water and I'm about to cry. It is such an emotional movie. So good. I'm not going to say I didn't get like choked up or teary-eyed at all in the movie last night, but it was like maybe once, maybe twice. It was not nearly as much. Like, they just didn't hit those beats.
It sounds to me like you did not like this movie.
Well, and that's why I wanted to say first that I did, because the bottom line is, and I guess that's the sad reality, is like with these live action remakes and stuff, this one probably ranks at the top for me. This is probably the best one I've seen. And it still isn't better than the original.
Or even as good.
No, not as good.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, had they gone into this with a $200 million, $250 million budget and could actually just remake the original, I might have liked that better. I don't know. You never know.
It's difficult to say because sometimes the bigger budgets is part of the reason the movies don't turn out as well.
That's true too. I mean, it's one of those big what ifs. Like it could have been, well, hey, with the extra money, you get a better looking Pleakley and Jamba, you get Gantu, you get more of the actual original story. Mm-hmm. Maybe you get some cameos from like the other cousins. In this movie, the only Easter egg to Stitch having like the cousins or whatever is, again, spoilers, but it really doesn't matter. Nothing comes of this. But anyway, when Jamba catches him and he's got him in this little thing, he's going to like tear him apart and rebuild him into 627. And so he goes to this little screen to like scroll through it to like get to 627. And he passes like Angel, the pink one. He passes, is it 625? That's the yellow one that loves sandwiches.
I don't remember.
Well, he passes him. He passes a couple other ones I can't remember. Anyway, he passes a few recognizable ones from from the show and other movies, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But maybe with more of a budget, maybe you see them in cages or something, or I mean something. You just never know. But you could be right.
But you know what a good example of what I'm talking about is the Hobbit films had a way bigger budget than the Lord of the Rings.
That's
and they
fair.
Didn't do as well.
I will never ever forget going to see the third Hobbit movie and the freaking.
Hold on a second. You've seen the Hobbit movies, but you haven't seen Lord of the Rings?
It was not by choice.
What?
Well, I guess I can't say that.
That's totally not cool. You're a hypocrite because
chronologically it makes sense.
No, it does not.
The Hobbit happens first.
That doesn't matter. Chronologically is irrelevant. It doesn't make sense at all. I don't care what argument you try to make. Actually, chronologically, it doesn't because the Lord of the Rings came out first.
But The Hobbit happens first.
That doesn't matter.
You gotta know. The Hobbit came out first in book form.
That's okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Then you can make an argument then for reading The Hobbit first, but not watching it first.
Whatever.
So I don't even
right.
remember what I was going to say now, but
Probably something about how bad those movies were.
oh, I didn't think they were terrible. I mean,
Well.
the first Hobbit movie, I don't think they should have done a trilogy. They should have just done
don't get
one
me
movie.
wrong. Okay, I was gonna say first. Let me say this in my defense. I have not seen the first one.
Whoa, dude, what is going on with
You
you,
gotta-
in the Lord of the Rings world?
You gotta understand. So
So you didn't even watch it chronologically.
I did, just not all of it.
You didn't see the first movie, the first Hobbit movie.
So here's what
the
happened.
best one and the most important.
I was
one?
gonna say. So here's what happened. Here's what happened. I didn't care anything about Lord of the Rings. So I mean, yeah, when the first one came out, I was like,
"Who are you?"
I was like, I'm not gonna go watch that. By the time the second one came out, a buddy of mine and me were like always going to see movies together, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to go see this new Hobbit with me? Because I got no one else to go with." And I was like,
And you're like, "Well, I've seen Lord of the Rings, so."
I was like, honestly, not really. But I mean, if you just want, I was like, I know nothing about Lord of the Rings. I didn't see the first Hobbit. I know nothing about any of this. But if you just want someone to like go with you, I'll go. I mean, I don't care. I'm down to go see a movie, whatever. He's like, yeah, I mean, I just kind of don't want to go alone. Okay, cool. So we went and I saw the second Hobbit movie. Now, not going to lie, I actually enjoyed it. I was like, this is pretty cool. Like decent action, decent little story. It ends on the big, cliffhanger, like the dragon, Smaug, awakening, and like he's about to fly towards the town. And I was like, oh, this is like, okay, it's pretty cool. So when the third one got announced, I was like, hey, like I actually enjoyed that second one. If you're going to go see the third one, I'll go with you because I kind of want to see it and see how it all ends. So we went and I hated it. I was like, this is stupid. Like the final battle with like all the orcs there and everything. And then like the one orc that like fights for way too long with one character. And then you think they kill him and he like falls down a mountain into water. And then he's like floating through water. And then he like floats under some ice where another character's standing and they look down and see him. And I'm like, no way. And his eyes pop open and he's not dead. I'm like, what is going on? And then he busts through the ice and fights that character. This is so dumb. Yeah. That's all I remember from that movie is that it starts with a dragon fight and ends with a terrible orc fight that made no sense.
I'm pretty sure none of that was in the books.
No, because The Hobbit was, like you said, it should have never been a trilogy.
Yeah, it should have just been one movie. You could have done you already had an original movie series where every movie, especially the extended editions, which if you're a real Lord of the Rings fan, those are the only ones you watch. But
amen, brother.
I can't watch the non-extended versions.
Me
anymore.
either. I hate them.
But anyway,
you trying to save me an hour?
You already had those films where each one was like 3+, and the extended versions are about 4 hours. So it's like, oh my God. If your fan base already loves that stuff, why not just create one really long Hobbit movie? And you don't have to add in all of that extra stuff, Yeah. Yeah, I did not like that they made it into a trilogy. But the first movie was the best in that series. It's actually a pretty good movie.
I believe it. I mean, as good as the second one, I could see it being a thing where like it goes from like really good to pretty good to not good. I could totally see that. But yeah.
It feels like they got to the third movie and were like, all right, we really got to find a way to make this last for a couple hours.
Orcs.
We already have orcs.
Good idea,
More
Kevin.
Orcs. Yeah. I don't think the white orc was ever a thing in the books. I think that was totally made up.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't read the books either, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know you haven't. But I'm just saying, part of the reason it didn't translate well is it just wasn't in.
Because it wasn't translated.
You know what?
It was created.
Do you know what they actually could have done that would have, if they wanted to add stuff, they could have done something with Tom Bombadil because they never included him in the original movie series. They could have included him. They could have added something. I mean, he's not in the Hobbit book, but if they wanted to add something, still be true to the lore and even kind of like, a lot of fans of the books were upset that Tom Bombadil wasn't in the movie series. So I understand why they did it. It doesn't bother me that much, but they could have done that with the Hobbit series if they wanted to make it 3 movies. I mean, do you know anything about Tom Bombadil?
I was gonna say I know that name. I don't know anything about that character, but
he's like this really mysterious super. A lot of people think he was Tolkien's version of God. Like he's actually a Iluvatar as a man who walks Middle Earth. Iluvatar is the like creator of Middle Earth.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people think that Tom. I think that's what people think about him. They think that he's like the human version of him. But there's in the Fellowship of the Ring, the books, they encounter Tom Bombadil and his wife, Lady Goldstein, in the woods, and Tom Bombadil holds the ring and puts it on, and nothing happens to him, and he's just like, "Whoa, whatever."
Nice ring."
Yeah, pretty much.
You want to give me 10% of it? I'm not God or anything.
Yeah.
That actually is a cool. I mean, at the very least, that fan theory, if that's never been proven, like that, like because Tolkien based a lot of this stuff off like his interpretation of the like putting the Bible into fantasy form.
Yeah.
So that would be really cool that he's got like a Jesus figure in the world. And the fact that he was in the book but not in the movie somehow adds to the mystery of that. That's kind of cool. That's
cool.
I
didn't mind that they left him out because you have to leave some stuff out. And Tom Bombadil was more of like a fun addition to the story than like a central piece of it.
Yeah.
He's very central to the lore of Middle Earth, but not necessarily to the Fellowship story or the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't mind that they left him. But I also wasn't a fan of it before the movies came out, So the movies is what made me a fan of Middle Earth.
Well, one of these days I'm going to have to watch those and we'll talk about them on here.
Yeah, one of these days when we're old.
When we're old.
Have you seen
when?
That's fair. Have you seen the Tolkien movie?
No.
Oh, okay. That's a good movie. It's I was like
I think you've told me about it, but I haven't seen it.
It's really good. It's pretty accurate to what he like went through and what his life was like too.
I actually, this has nothing to do with that, but like you bringing that up makes me remember. I did recently watch a documentary on Prime that just came out called "Wick is Pain" about the like creation of the John Wick franchise. Super interesting. It's insane how close these movies were to just never being made. I know you said you haven't even seen the first one, right? Or like you didn't like it or something.
Yeah, I stopped. We've talked, this is the third time we've talked about this, but I stopped at the monologue, the one that
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. So I don't know how much you know about man, you stopped at the so you didn't even see any of the action.
This is your reaction every single time.
I mean, I remember you telling me that, and I remember being like, that's crazy because that's an epic monologue, but and we had disagreeing views on that, but it just hit me that there's not even any of the action at that point. It's after that
they killed his dog.
Yeah, but that's not action.
I'm just joking.
that's just terrible.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing. They talked about that in the documentary. They almost got completely roadblocked because of the dog. They were like, you can't kill an animal on camera. You cannot kill not an animal, a dog. You cannot kill a puppy on camera. They were like,
dude,
that's just
our
something.
Our world is so freaking backwards. They're going to go up in arms about killing a dog. People get killed on camera all the time.
The thing of it is that they know that. But like the point was people are so like, dogs are like this symbol of like,
they're animals.
Happiness and hope and cuddly and friendship or whatever.
All right. And vomit.
Look, man, that's gross.
It's gross. I love dogs, but they're animals.
But like it was like a huge. They were like, you can't do that, and they were like, we're doing it. We're killing this dog, like a real dog. We're gonna. No, I'm just kidding.
Now we're talking. No, I'm just kidding.
But we got to do multiple takes. They had like a kennel of them. Ooh, fresh. Anyway,
that was an inside joke.
Crazy thing. So first of all, the directors of the movie, there was 2 directors of the first movie. They were like really good friends in the industry. They were both stunt dudes. they had never directed anything like major. So this was like their first, like their directorial debut together in a sense, as far as like a major thing goes. And it was like headaches from the beginning. They finally finished their like location scouting, and they like got everything set up in the house to start shooting like some of the beginning portion of the movie. And they get a call from the producer that day, like the day before they start shooting, that there's a gap in the budget and they might have to just take everything to ground zero and put everything on pause. They've got like their whole crew ready to shoot. Like they got people on staff like that they're trying to pay, ready to go tomorrow. Everything might have to stop. Yeah. Turns out it was like $6 million just like unaccounted for. Like just they never got. There was just a gap in the budget. Everyone was scrambling, trying to figure out anything. That the producer took out a second loan or something on the equity of his home to try and help backfill some of the gap, just to like get every penny they could. Guess who came through and funded the rest of the movie so it could get shot?
Superman.
No. Crazy enough. Her name is in the opening credits of the first movie. Eva Longoria got credited as I think producer or something, a co-producer in the credits of the movie, because she helped fund the other however many millions of dollars, I guess, to get the movie made, to get it off the ground and going.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Never knew that. I don't even think I ever remember seeing her name in the credits, because I think I would have been like, Eva Longoria, this movie's going to suck. No, I mean, but like in all seriousness, like I was like, what? That's crazy.
I don't know who that is.
She's like some actress. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But she has nothing to do with
seeing her name. Like, can you believe it?
Well, she's famous. But I mean, she has nothing to do with action movies that I know of.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think she's like a drama actress. I don't know. I can't even tell you I've seen her in anything, but I know she's a famous actress. And I'm telling you, I was like, it'd be like hearing, well, no, even that would make more sense. But I was going to say Sandra Bullock.
Oh, yeah.
But actually, that would make sense because they starred in Speed together, her and Keanu.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That would have even made more sense than Eva Longoria just be like, here's like $4 million to go make your action film.
Wow.
But anyway, crazy stuff. So I thought that was cool. Anyone who likes John Wick, if you haven't seen it, the documentary on Prime, Wick is Pain. It was very good, very entertaining. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Let's, you got anything else on that, or
no?
You want to transition? Trailer news.
Oh boy. Oh yeah. Before I forget, you got to tell me some theories you've heard about the MCU.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of close with some Marvel stuff.
Okay.
Because I got a couple things in that realm, but
gotcha.
I wanted to talk trailers, so we're moving in. It is. I know I keep saying it, folks, but it is here. It is May. It's almost June. Crazy. The summer blockbuster season is upon us, and trailers galore. You know, I just went to the movies last night, obviously, like I said, for the Lilo and Stitch, and I mean, just posters everywhere, all this stuff coming out. I'm getting antsy because like it's that time. I'm gonna be honest. When you and I went and saw Thunderbolts, I was like, that F1 movie kind of looks actually good.
What movie?
That F1 Formula One with Brad Pitt.
I don't.
He's like a. I don't know how to word. He's like a has-been NASCAR driver who switches to Formula One, and he's got like the cocky young partner. That actually looks kind of good. Like, not gonna lie. And I don't know if it's just because I like Brad Pitt or if it's because the movie looks good, but kind of looks good.
Yeah.
Kind of want to see that. I know you have no interest in that new Jurassic movie, but I kind of want to see that. I'm not going to lie. It actually looks decent.
I wish you would lie.
Okay, I'll lie. Lord of the Rings is the best movie.
You keep that name out of your mouth.
Keep Lord of the Rings name out of your mouth. You just slapped me.
That's weird. Your cheeks sound a lot like your hands clapping together.
Hey, man, what can I say? I got palmy cheeks.
Palmy Cheeks band name. We're from the Palmetto State, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, F1 looks good. That Jurassic movie looks pretty good to me.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. It looks amazing. It looks better than the third Hobbit. Yeah, you're not gonna argue with that, are you?
No, I am, because it's even worse than the third Hobbit. 'Cause it's like the 20,000th remake of this Jurassic.
It's not
franchise.
a remake. It's a new movie.
It's a remake.
It's a sequel.
It's a remake.
It's not a remake.
Every single Jurassic movie at this point is just rehashing. You see what you do?
Sorry, Mike fell. Hot
Yeah.
Mike. I mean, that you can't just call that's like saying the second and third Lord of the Rings is a remake of Lord of the Rings.
It's not, because it's a continuation of the same story.
That's what this is.
No, it's
Yes, it is.
This wasn't planned out. Like, Tolkien wrote and planned out the whole series initially.
You do know these were books too, right?
Maybe so, but
They were.
I don't know if you're messing with me right
No,
now.
Michael Crichton really wrote multiple Jurassic Park books.
Okay, but he probably started continuing to write them after the first one got success, which is what happens a lot. It's like,
I don't know. I don't know the
success,
years of
and they're
release
like,
on everything.
better create a
but-
sequel. And they, at some point, when you have so many different stories, it ends up just being like, at this point, the Creed movies. Creed 1 was really just a rehashing of Rocky 1, and it was just from Creed, and the roles between, like, Rocky became Mickey and Creed became Rocky. It was pretty much just a rehashing of Rocky 1.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So-
just like The Force Awakens is a rehashing of A New Hope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Absolutely
Once they
agree.
just that's it's basically just Jurassic Park again, but with better CGI.
Much better. And practicals.
Sure.
For Rizzle.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing that point. Obviously, the CGI is better than like the 90s.
No, I mean like practical. Like it's got like they brought back like they're doing the robot thing again.
and practical. Sorry, I meant to say that. I mean, even that has improved a lot since the 90s.
Heck yeah, it
Do you know
has.
that's one of the things going back? Well, this is a really heavy Lord of the Rings podcast, but
Yay.
I think I've even talked about this before. That's one of the things that made the original Lord of the Rings so good. Is he wanted to make CGI used as little as they could possibly use it. So like the vast majority of everything you see is practical effects. Every single orc is an actual real person that makeup artists made completely unique. So
I mean that is cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's not, but
and in Battle of Five Armies, I think they were CGI mostly.
there's no dinosaurs.
Who gives a T-Rex's rear end about that?
Michael Crichton.
Well, he didn't write Lord of the Rings. There's no dwarves in
And-
Jurassic World.
Actually, I mean there's children. That's close. Anywho, I'm just saying it looks good. Again, trailers, man. Trailers are good. That doesn't mean the movie's gonna be, but the trailer looks good.
Sure.
You say that like you don't agree.
I don't agree with that one.
You don't think the trailer looks good?
No, because it's the same thing. It's just like, all right, here we go again.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's move on to the real controversial. I think we can both agree the new Fantastic Four trailer looks awesome. We're excited.
Yeah, that I do not want to see that. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm really excited about the new Fantastic Four.
Let's talk about.
After I just completely pooped all over remakes and stuff.
Well, you know.
Oh, I would like to, I want to talk about what you're going to talk about, but at some point, I rewatched the original Fantastic Four recently that came out in like the early 2000s. It was pretty good. I was shocked. I always had this idea in my head that the comic book movies that come out now are just leagues beyond those older ones. And, you know, they are. I'm sure this new one's going to be way better, but like, especially for the time it came out, it wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's main gripe with the old Fantastic Four movies, the first one I think is actually held in pretty decent regard. Really, no issues that I can remember hearing.
A lot of people online said they didn't like the way Doom was portrayed.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Back then they probably weren't expecting things like cinematic universes and stuff. So like it was like, hey, we got a villain, we got to beat the villain. So yeah, I think Doom, from what I remember, and it's been a long time, but from what I remember, Doom was portrayed pretty like villain of the week, kind of like level of power, and that's just not accurate. But all things considered, it fit the tone of the movie, and it worked well. The main gripe people had with those movies was the second one.
Oh.
Because in the second one, they brought in Galactus, except they didn't, because it wasn't Galactus. It was like a giant cloud that was like moving towards the Earth that was going to like engulf the Earth instead of it being like a giant, like the
new Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, but what are the things called that?
Titans?
No, bigger than that. The thing that was going to be born out of the Earth in Eternals.
I didn't finish Eternals.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, Celestial.
Celestial.
Yeah,
he's like a celestial, and he eats planets.
Yeah,
and instead of being that, he was just a big cloud, and everyone's like, "What is this? This isn't Galactus." And this was back even when like people just didn't know stuff about, like if you weren't into comic books, you didn't know that, and people were like, "What the heck?"
Yeah,
I mean, it's Galactus. It's pretty iconic. But anyway,
why do filmmakers do that?
I don't know. Well, I do know, but it's stupid. What it is they think that, I'll relate it back to Lilo and Stitch because I just saw that. In the original movie, whenever they find out that his trajectory when he escapes is to land on Earth, they're like, she's like, what's all the blue? And the guy's like, oh, it's water. That planet's like mostly water. It's covered in it. And she goes, oh, well, with his molecular density being so high, he won't survive there. Like that's pretty much just how she words it. She just leaves it at that. In the new one, same thing. What's all the blue? Oh, it's covered in what's like mostly water. Oh man, with his molecular density is so high, he won't be able to survive there. And literally all the like other little aliens in the control room turn around and go, huh? Because that's what they think the audience is doing. And she goes, he'll get really heavy and he'll drown. And they go, oh. That's why they do stuff like that. Because they think audiences are so stupid that they can't comprehend this movie, not real giant spaceman, must be Cloud. That's what they think. That's why they do stuff like that.
I think that's pretty accurate.
I mean, they have no faith in the audience anymore. None. That's why it's so special. That's why when a good movie comes out, it's pretty universally loved. Like I remember when Knives Out came out, and it's like not everyone's just into whodunits like me. I mean, but like when it came out, everyone was flipping out about it because Rian Johnson just lets you. If you can figure it out, you can figure it out. Like the hints are there. He purposely puts things in his movies where if you catch them, you can catch hints along with the detective and figure it out. But like if you don't, you get the answer at the end like any other whodunit. But it's not like a far-fetched like, oh, that came out of nowhere. It's like, no, the hints were there the whole time. But not every director does that. Not every writer does that. That's one reason I love Severance so much. And I know I've talked about it a billion times on this show, and I will continue to sing its praises. Severance is a fantastic show, steeped in mystery, leaves its audience guessing here and there. Like, it doesn't feel the need to answer every little question every single episode. You get drip-fed some things here and there, especially in Season 2, but there's still so much going into Season 3 we have no idea about, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. But let's move on to the best trailer of all time, the one you're the most excited about, Superman. What'd you think?
Before I forget to tell you, by the way, we're watching Loki. We're on the second season now, so I want to let you know I'm really enjoying it.
I told you, Loki was a great show.
It was way better than I thought it was going to be.
I need to finish season 2. I mean, I know what happens, but I need to finish watching.
Oh yeah. Superman. So the trailer was really good. I'll say that.
End of story. You heard it here, folks. Superman's going to be the best movie of all time. Daniel said so himself.
I mean, I'm just viewing it as a remake of a story I've already seen a whole bunch of times, though. I mean,
you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
No, you haven't.
$20 says Kryptonite is going to show up in the film.
I'll take that bet.
You don't think Kryptonite's going to show up?
I don't think it'll be the way they stop him.
Okay, I'm not gonna shake your hand because I don't want to lose $20.
$5.
No.
Oh, come on. $1?
I'm not confident in this, Chris.
That's what a bet is.
How else could they stop him? What do you think they're gonna do?
I don't.
There's a scene in the teaser trailer where he's like wounded and beaten up, and like they use the sun to bring his muscles back into place, his bones back into place. I mean, so like, what did that to him if it wasn't kryptonite?
He can get beat up without kryptonite. I mean, that he's not. He's invincible to like me or you going up and hitting him, but I mean, there are things he fights like a giant dragon kaiju in the trailer.
Yeah, but he's not gonna. I mean, he's limitless. That's his whole thing.
See, I think that's where you do have a little bit of a misconception on the character. Like he still can get hurt. Like without kryptonite, he can be hurt.
I've never heard
it just takes more.
Every Superman fan I've ever talked to has always said they love him because he's limitless and like he has no limits. Like the big argument between who would win, Goku versus Superman, that was what all the Superman fans said.
That's not even an argument because any person will Goku wins that fight 100 times out of 100.
That's not what Superman fans say.
But they're wrong.
The whole point of him is that he has no limits.
I understand, but that's what I'm telling you. Is that first of all, that's wrong. Like, if you want to talk no limits, Goku actually Goku has destroyed planets with like minimal effort. Like charging up an attack, he's destroyed planets, much less the attack. Like,
but their argument would be Superman could do that,
but he hasn't,
and he's limitless. Like he won't die. He'll just get more stronger and powerful. And
first of all, your thing you always bring up, the kryptonite thing, right there will tell you he can die.
Yes, of course. That's what I would tell them, but their whole point is, well, yeah, if you don't have kryptonite, and that's why I think he's a silly character, because it's like, well, all you got to do is find some kryptonite.
No, they're wrong. But anyway, the point.
I'm going to look this up now. Is Superman
from Krypton
supposed to be limitless?
Limitless.
I typoed it. Oh, let's see what Brave Search AI. Oh, okay. Superman is not considered to be limitless in the context of most stories and discussions within the DC Comics universe. His powers are influenced by various factors such as the presence of yellow sunlight, which is essential for his abilities, and his power levels are not consistently depicted as infinite across different narratives. Some argue that Superman's potential is limitless because his body can absorb an unlimited amount of solar energy, but this is not universally accepted. Writers often depict Superman as having a stable set of powers that can be affected by magic, kryptonite, serious injury, or lack of sunlight, indicating that he does have limits.
Yep.
That's what the AI said.
And that's very true.
Okay, there's a subreddit called Superman. All right, I'm not going to spend forever on this, but I think this is going to be very telling, because I think this, from what I'm just glimpsing at this post, I think this person, this is the Superman subreddit. And I think this person had the same question, because it starts off saying, I've heard some fanboys come after me in the past saying they think Superman is unbeatable because they think he is potentially limitless. This is what I've heard from raving Superman fans. This is
funny because this is my post.
I'm a loser?
Yeah.
No.
Duh.
No, this was actually posted by Master Chaotic.
Shouts out Master Chaotic. 7 years ago.
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Their argument is that he is not at his max potential all the time, but the problem is that this is on the Death Battle video where Superman was specified to be at his max, and in many other battle threads, the same specification is made. So, okay, the first response, which has the most upvotes, I think. No, and most people on this sub don't care about the death battle stuff. We just enjoy good stories. Fighting and power levels are not as important in Superman stories as they are in Dragon Ball.
True.
So this had to do with it.
And this is what I've tried to tell you. Like, Superman stories are not like big punchy fests like you would think.
Wait, hold on though. Someone commented the second most high. Superman is unbeatable because he is a protagonist in superheroes. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought that was going a different direction.
And that's the other thing I've literally told you. Any character has the potential to be unbeatable. Like, any fictional thing has the potential to be anything because it's whatever the writers tell it. If I wrote the Daniel story and you were the character and I was just like, yeah, he went up, he jumped up and he grabbed the sun and he played basketball with it and he shot it into space, you could do it because arguably, if you did all that, you'd be more powerful than most any fictional character just because I wrote it on paper. Superman is no different than any other. Aang, any of the
but
hobbits.
okay, but hold on a second. The difference is, I see what you're saying, but the difference is the writers have included very easily understandable limits to Aang's power. Now, here's what I'm starting to gather.
Have
though.
they?
Yeah, he's got
Tell me where the Avatar state stopped. Like what's its cap?
Well, the Avatar state might be limitless, but his ability to go into it is not. Like, so
He gets it on command now.
That was one of the things that made the end of the Avatar series like interesting, because if you can figure out how to do that, you're unstoppable. So, but that was how it ended. It's like I said, Superman makes a really good story one time because it's the same kind of thing. Like he and you can continue Avatar lore because other avatars don't have that ability, but Superman makes a good story one time because, yeah, potentially he's limitless, but there's also the kryptonite. And if you don't know about kryptonite and you find out, oh, the planet that he's from makes his power go away, that makes for a good story one time. But it's hard to build lore with that. Now, having said that, what I think I'm discovering after reading this post and talking to you is my problem might not be with Superman himself, but the way the fans, like the raving fans of Superman, portrayed him as a character.
That's probably true.
And probably certain comic lines portray him that way too.
Potentially, but I mean, I would say this: you clearly have not dealt with any Batman fans. Like with the way you talk about Superman, the fact that you never bring up how Batman is so boring or whatever. Like, I'm not saying you love Batman. You're not on here like raving about Batman, but like you almost seem to have like a thing against Superman, and I don't hear you really talk that way about Batman. And I'm like, you must never deal with Batman fans. They are way worse.
Do they think he is limitless? Like, do they think he could beat Superman?
Batman,
and without kryptonite?
There's an argument in the to be made comics wise that like Superman is way more vulnerable than Batman, because the way Batman is written in every freaking story ever is that he already knew what everyone was going to do. He was 7 steps ahead. He's got the answer. He could work his way out of anything. He has done things in the comics. He's a normal dude. Let me remind everyone, he is not a superhero. He is a hero. He's a normal guy in a bat costume. He has sat on like a throne of knowledge that has driven immortals insane. And like they can't leave it because they're so like addicted to like the and got up and walked away. He has worn a White Lantern ring. That is insane. Okay. White Lanterns are like angelic beings, and he has worn a White Lantern ring.
But this is actually an argument against Superman and not Batman, because listen.
Okay, never mind. You're a Batman fan. That's why. Now it all makes sense.
That's obviously very ridiculous and stupid. But because you have a character like Superman who is so powerful, and the only thing that can really take away his powers is kryptonite, at least as far as I understand it. You have to have someone like Batman have ways around that, and when you do that, it becomes absolutely ridiculous.
Can I tell you what I think your problem with Superman is? Can I tell you what I think it is? I can't tell you your feelings, but this is my outsider perspective. Like the discussions we've had, this is what I think the actual issue here is. For some reason with Superman, it always comes back to how do you beat him? How do you beat him? It's one way to beat him. Kryptonite, his power level, he can do anything. But real Superman fans, and they kind of just talked about it in that subreddit, real Superman fans do not care about how strong he is. They don't care about his potential, how limitless or unlimitless, or how do you beat him, or the different way. The intrigue about Superman is actually the fact that he is so powerful, but he wants to be human. He wants to be a part of humanity. He wants to be accepted. He wants to be a normal person. He just wants to help people. Whereas like someone like Batman is a human being and does everything he can to distance himself from humanity. Superman is the pure embodiment of hope and happiness and good.
That's great. I think that makes for an interesting character. But my whole point
apparently not.
No, I've said this a million times. It makes a really great story one time. Like, I don't think that's a ridiculous thing to say. Like,
no, I don't think it's ridiculous.
I'm just saying, I'm not even saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's really difficult to build the kind of universe that like Marvel has with a character like Superman when you've already written his weakness is kryptonite. That's it. So every time you already know what the villain is going to do, he's going to try to find some kryptonite.
Well, first of all, they just flat out told you lack of sunlight hurts him. Magic, he's super vulnerable to any magic character, so that hurts him too. I mean, he has other things, and it's not like he can't be hurt in a physical altercation without kryptonite. He can be.
Well, and I didn't know those things, so that does make a difference. I mean, you've never brought those things up.
I mean,
before.
I've never said that verbatim. I thought you just kind of knew. I mean,
no, I've.
It's hard to hurt him, but
every
you can do it.
Superman fan that I've encountered, most of it's been online, but where I've talked to people, like the Dragon Ball. I mean, the Goku versus Superman debate was wild for a long time.
Oh yeah,
and every
Still
Superman
is.
fan was like, "No, he couldn't win because he's limitless. Like he has no limit to his power." That's what everyone kept repeating. Obviously, except for in the back of my head, I'm like, but kryptonite completely nukes him. So that's been my perspective of Superman. It's like, well, that's a stupid character because he's completely, totally powerless. So unless you find some kryptonite, and it's like, well, I already know what the guy's going to do. He's going to go look for some kryptonite to beat him.
Is your point also that you think Superman would be like a lot more interesting if kryptonite just wasn't a thing?
Yes. Absolutely.
So you think he'd be more interesting with no weakness, no way to beat him?
Not no weakness, not no. The fact that kryptonite is like it kills him. It's just it completely nukes him.
Well, it doesn't kill him. I mean, it can.
It kills his power.
Yeah, like it makes him normal.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that not only is his only weakness, but it is a massive, huge weakness. Like if he did have the lack of sunlight thing, the magic stuff, those things, and there was no kryptonite, that would make a much more interesting character. And I already think he's interesting from what you described of like he is so powerful, but he wants to be human. But to me, it's like you wrote him into this corner where you have this one super massive weakness. It is a huge weakness that completely nukes his power. Otherwise, he's limitless. It's like, well,
I'm going to tell you another thing.
Obviously, we got to find some kryptonite to stop him.
Another angle that I think is an interesting way to look at Superman is that, like, though he is the, like, protagonist, the main character of maybe a lot of his stories is actually more Earth. People, like civilians and governments, like dealing with the fact that they have this being on the planet. They kind of scrape like the surface of it in the new trailer where Lois is interviewing him, which, by the way, him like subtly changing from Clark to Superman when he's like kind of slouching and then she's like, "Are you ready?" And he like straightens up and leans forward. His voice changes and he's like, "Miss Lane?" I was like, oh my gosh, holy Christopher Reeves, this is awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
But she's interviewing him. He goes to a different country. He lives in America. He goes to a whole different country and stops a war. And in his mind, he did a good thing because he stopped innocent people from dying. He stopped a conflict from happening that probably shouldn't have been happening. Context will tell when the movie gets here. Obviously, we only know what we saw in the trailer. But he goes and he stops a war. He comes back. It's a huge issue because, like she said, she's like, you're representing and he interrupts. She's like, I wasn't representing anyone but myself. I was trying to help people. I wasn't trying to do this like on behalf of the government. I'm not a politician. Like I was just going over there. I think that's super interesting also. And it has nothing to do with his power. It has to do with his intentions and like him just doing what he thinks is right. But he can do a lot more than a normal person. So, like, how do governments deal with that? It's like, you can't stop it, really. But,
Unless
I mean...
you can find some kryptonite.
All right. Anyway.
But do you at least see that as a potential problem in the writing?
I get what you mean.
Because if the governments think he's such a big threat and want to stop him,
I guess,
wouldn't they do everything in their power to find kryptonite?
I guess my thing is this. I'm not going to sit here and claim I've read every Superman story. I haven't, not even close. He's been around since, golly, at least the 40s or 50s, at least. Maybe probably longer, but he's been around decades. And they have constantly found ways to reinvent and write new things for him. And he's stayed like one of the most iconic heroes of all time. And I can't believe that that's coincidence. Like, there has to be better stories with more depth to them than just he strong, find Green Rock, he dead, oh, find way around Green Rock, now I win.
That's fair. I mean, obviously Superman is beloved by millions and millions of people. I mean, I'm not arguing that. A lot of people love Twilight. I still think Twilight is a stupid story. And I don't even think Superman is a stupid story. Like I said, if you don't know about kryptonite and the dynamic you're talking about in the trailer, that's super interesting to me, that he's like, I was just helping people. I'm not trying to, and he doesn't want to use his powers to like just wreck the government and say, fine, I'm going to take it over. But it's like, to me, that's a huge plot hole. It's like, if the governments want to stop him so badly and they think he's such a threat, just go find some kryptonite. Like,
they might not know that.
Well, they might not, but we know that's probably what's going to end up happening. Or and if it doesn't happen, it needs to be explained why they're not going to find kryptonite. Like,
maybe because they heard you complain, like we're going to find a different way to beat him, just to prove him wrong,
just to spite you. Can I also talk about things I loved about the trailer?
Yeah,
though, because
I'd love to hear some good things you liked about it.
I know we like to argue about Superman a lot and stuff. I'm not even saying I dislike Superman. All I've said is this is a big writing issue. Like, they've written him into a corner with this kryptonite thing.
I think you're just you want to see something different with him, and I think that's fair.
Yeah, but I don't know. Here's a good way they could maybe make this work in a way that would completely take away everything that I've said. If they found a way to make kryptonite inaccessible in the like they acknowledge the kryptonite issue, maybe Lex Luthor does something and it ruins the opportunity, and kryptonite is like no more. Like,
maybe it's harmful to humans, and so they keep it locked. Like, no, even if it does stop him, it'll hurt people.
Exactly,
so no.
Something like that would make it. That would be exactly what I would need.
Like, to do it would be like to acknowledge you're basically going to nuke a city because you're going to hurt innocent people to stop Superman.
That right there would be flawless. That's beautiful. I love something
that is interesting. That is interesting. I wonder if they would do something like that.
And if they did that, I would be like, I'm on board. Let's do this.
Because at least now there's a caveat to using it other than just, haha, we have a weapon now.
All I got to do is find some green rock and then I can beat you up.
Yeah.
You know, it's
like, it'll kill me to do it, and it'll kill a lot of other people to do it, but we'll do it if we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. That's fair.
Yeah. That would, I would absolutely love that. Let me tell you the thing that I loved a lot about that trailer that made me excited to actually probably want to go see it. I've said this a bunch of times before, is I don't want DC to just copy Marvel. Because Marvel has their own thing. DC needs to find a way to do something that is true to their identity, where they're obviously not copying Marvel, but they're doing something in their own way. I don't want to see this multiverse. I mean, I wouldn't like to see the multiverse there, but
not right now. It's way too early.
Yeah, but I don't even really want to see it at all unless they can find a way to do it that's unique to DC. But I don't want to see the same kind of repeat of a cinematic universe as Marvel did. Here's what I loved about this. This is their first movie into this new era of DC. And they showed us the Hawk lady, I forget her name.
Hawk Girl,
the Green Lantern.
Yep.
They're
Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, exactly. They're already
Crypto.
They basically are starting at where like Civil War was.
Yeah, there's already other established heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to hide it. They're not doing this like but they're going to do branching movies with them, and
they're
going to tie stuff in.
Yeah.
I loved that they did that, because they're like, we're not going to do you guys have already seen that with Marvel.
Yeah.
We're giving you all of it right now.
Yeah.
We're showing you this world the way it is. And I was like,
and to that point, we're not getting a Superman origin story. He's clearly been Superman for a minute.
Yes.
We don't know how long, but he's clearly been there. Like Lois knows who he is. Like, there's no secret. Yeah. Well, there's no secret identity from her. Like, it's I like that too. We're just jumping in. Let's just go. Let's roll with it. I think that'll be interesting as well. My favorite thing about it, and then we'll kind of move on. My favorite thing about the trailer was we finally got a Superman with some personality. Like, don't get me wrong. Please, 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 people, do not mishear me. I loved Henry Cavill's Superman. I thought he was honestly probably the best part of the DCEU. Like, and I loved Ben Affleck's Batman, but I thought Henry Cavill as Superman just looked he just looked the part, man.
Yeah.
And he did everything to get his body to a huge size. I mean, he didn't cheat his way to it. Like, he did it. And I love that about him. He is a great Superman. But the way he was written and the way he was directed, his Clark Kent and his Superman both just didn't have a whole lot of personality.
Yeah.
And
he's like an eye doctor.
Yeah, I guess.
Eye doctors, for some reason, are the most monotone
like
people.
Bland.
Have you ever noticed that? They're always talking real soft. Like, boy, those Gamecocks really won the other day, didn't they? Why don't you open up your eye a little bit here? Can you tell me what that says over there? Okay, 1 or 2? 2 or 4? No,
I guess. I mean, I've only ever been to one eye doctor, but yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, unless we go to the same one, you nailed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love like the little clip, and a lot of people. There is so much hate for this movie already online. People are bashing this movie, and it's mostly Snyder fans who are just still mad that phase is over and Henry Cavill's no longer in the suit. But the scene of him fighting like the giant robot dude, and he goes, "Hey buddy, eyes up here," and he flies up and then like cannonballs down towards the camera. That just looks so cool. I'm just so ready for some fun, colorful, just straight, unapologetic comic book action. The little scene, the little just quick like 2-second clip of Green Lantern, and he just like flicks his hand, and the giant green hand like throws the tank in the air. Like, I love it, man.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, overall, it was a really good trailer. You've even got me more excited now because of your description of using kryptonite. It's like, if they find a way to do something like that, I will be all in on Superman.
Well, and I'm still of the mind, I don't even think it'll be a thing in this movie.
Kryptonite at all?
Mm-mm.
That would be more of a problem for me, because we all know kryptonite exists, unless they establish that no one knows it exists yet.
Right. I mean,
if they establish that'll be okay.
Like, I mean, if he's been Superman, but like not like, clearly he's young. So I mean, it's not like he's been Superman for like 10 years. Young Lois, young Clark, like all that stuff. So I mean, we're dealing with a young Superman at least. I mean, he can't have been doing it for very long. So maybe there's a chance like he's been doing this and making a reputation, both good and bad, depending on who you ask. And no one even knows that maybe there's still a little comet floating in space. Maybe that'll be the end credit scene. You'll see a rock, and it'll just take the glint of the sunlight just the right way as it approaches Earth, and you'll see green flashing in it. You're like, oh, the only way to beat him.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm like, oh boy, all right, here we go. Big surprise, kryptonite. That's how you stop him.
Come on, man. Come on.
What do you mean, come on? That's a totally valid point. Just, they need to find... I would rather they include kryptonite and find a way to explain it in a way where there's consequences if you use it or something.
I mean, they still could. But I'm just saying, like, in this movie, it might not exist.
Maybe not. We'll see.
But I never did get to ask you about this other trailer. I don't know if you care at all about this movie or this franchise, but I do, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. Have you heard of Mission Impossible?
Yeah, dude, that last movie's coming out.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not really the one I want. But I mean,
okay.
That was just me joking with you.
Okay, gotcha.
We will talk about that now. But I was joking with the set. There really is another one that I have.
What's the other one?
Now You See Me 3.
Oh, yeah, I liked the first movie.
Yeah, me too.
I never saw the second one because I heard it was bad.
It's not as good.
Yeah.
But I will say, I think this third one, again, trailer. Who knows?
Yep.
The third one actually looks good. It looks like an interesting premise, and it looks like they're going back to the root of like it being a heist, like a magic heist movie.
Yeah.
Whereas the second one was kind of all over the place. It was kind of a heist, but not really. The first one, to me, hit the sweet spot. It was perfect. It was a good bit of magic, good bit of mystery, good bit of heist. All three of those things I can get behind. The second one, it had its moments, but it was a very weird movie. This one looks like it's going back to being like they literally, it's like classic heist. They got to steal like a giant diamond. That's like classic. So I'm looking forward to it. And from the way they kind of describe, it's like they got to pull off these other little heists to prepare for this big one. So I'm down for it. It looks cool.
Heist movies are fun.
Have you seen the new trailer?
No.
They put out a trailer probably been at least 2 or 3 weeks ago now, if not like a month. But I like I said, we never really talked about it, so I wanted to. I'm excited for it. I'm really hype about that one. That comes out in November.
Cool.
But yeah, Mission Impossible
Really
came out yesterday.
It did?
Yes, sir.
I thought it came out on the 31st.
No.
Man, I got to go see it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm gonna. I got to choose between that and Fantastic Four and what's the?
You got to choose between that Fantastic
We're
Four
not
and
made
Superman.
of money, my man.
I will get your ticket to Mission Impossible. I know how much you love that.
Okay.
I will buy you a ticket for that movie.
Right now?
Sure. While we're on air.
Let's leave this podcast and go see Mission Impossible. No, I'd have to see that with Claire. Claire would feel very.
No, that's
worried.
absolutely. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll go. There is no way I'm seeing Fantastic Four or Superman without you. There's no way.
Aww.
There's no way we're doing a podcast on that.
There's another movie coming out too, though. I can't remember what it is. I was trying to think of the third one.
Jurassic World.
Get out.
Or Jurassic Rebirth or whatever it's called.
We are coming up on time, and I do want to hear. You were telling me before the podcast that there are some rumors about the Marvel stuff coming out.
Yes, and then some news, which by the time this is uploaded, many of you may or may not know. So the news first, official news break yesterday. Doomsday and subsequently Secret Wars have now been delayed the better part of a year, almost 8 months, from May, like the first week or so of May to like the second or third week of December in their respective years. Doomsday 2026, Secret Wars 2027. I was kind of bummed when I first saw that, but I've seen a lot of talk, and based on the rumors I'm about to tell you, and then the talk I saw online, I'm actually kind of happy about it now.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Anyone who saw the casting announcement that you and I discussed on a previous episode knows that Tom Holland was not announced in the cast. It was later revealed that Spider-Man Brand New Day is supposed to be taking place like at the same time as Avengers Doomsday. As everything sits right now, Brand New Day now comes out like a while before Doomsday, when it was supposed to come out like almost right at the same time. So the first thing I saw on Twitter was like, oh yeah, they got Tom Holland signed on. Supposedly it was kind of like up in the air, and people think part of the reason now it's been pushed back is because now they've officially got Spider-Man in it. They got to work around his shooting schedule, and also because he's got Brand New Day. He's one of the lead actors in Christopher Nolan's Odyssey coming out. Mm-hmm. And then also he'll have now Doomsday as well. So like he's going to be quite a busy man for a while. But everyone's like, oh yeah, they got Tom Holland. And so they're going to work that in, which is one thing. Big deal. Now the rumors. This is all huge rumors until sometime in June. So we've got San Diego Comic-Con coming up, and Marvel is poised to potentially have one of their massive, massive Hall H's where they, do all their big, huge drops and reveals and bring out actors and whatever. So, if you'll remember, I told you a while back, I personally don't think you can do the Secret Wars story justice with one movie.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can. So, the rumor is that in June at San Diego Comic-Con, during their Hall H show-off thing, they're going to announce multiple new movies that were not on the slate, including Doctor Strange 3, which is supposedly titled Incursions of Insanity, which, again, Incursions is the different multiverses bumping into each other and overlapping. I don't think that's the real title because that just doesn't sound legit. I could be wrong. A lot of people hate it. I don't hate it. I just don't think it sounds real. So we'll see. But supposedly Doctor Strange 3, Thor 5, Hammerfall is the supposed title. And then announcing that Doomsday and Secret Wars are being split into 2 parts each. And it'll be a new phase that instead of being now in the multiverse phase that we've kind of been in, it will transition into the Battle World phase.
Oh, boy.
Which Battle World is, of course, in Secret Wars, the planet that all of Secret Wars takes place on, where all the different multiverse characters are there and they fight. So if we get a whole saga of movies that not only take place at the same time, but all around Secret Wars and Battle World, and they're all intertwined, and you're like watching Doctor Strange 3, but you're seeing stuff that technically is also happening in like the Secret Wars movie or whatever, and Thor 5, and it's like, yeah, that is what I'm talking about. Yeah. That is what they need to do.
Oh, another thing we didn't talk about, this is related, but Amazon Prime is releasing Spider-Man Noir or Spider Noir.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, they had a good little teaser trailer.
It looks so good. And I so hope that he shows up in the multiverse Secret Wars type stuff.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
Except the bad thing is then they'd have to probably do like Kraven and Venom and all the other bullcrap. But
yeah. But do you think that Avengers Doomsday, if they do split both of them up into two separate movies each, that Doomsday 1 will still be released in the summer, and then we'll get Doomsday 2 in the...
I don't know. That's possible. It's possible. I don't know. I could maybe see him doing a thing where like the first one still comes out in December, but maybe the second part comes out in like the first quarter of the next year, and then vice versa. Same thing with Secret Wars. But I don't know. That's a great question.
I can tell you one thing. Watching Loki, I really see how they're setting this up.
Yeah.
Like the way, especially once it got really interesting in season 2. And Loki's character development is pretty awesome.
Tom Hiddleston is a gem.
He really is.
And it really makes you... I just went back the other night and rewatched Avengers 1 and 2. And man, just watching some of those older, like some of the first couple phase movies of the MCU just really makes you appreciate whoever the casting directors were, their eye for talent and just matching people to the right roles.
Yeah.
Something that I gotta say has not super heavy declined, but like it's more few and far between in the MCU right now. Like for instance, the guy they got to play the new Falcon.
Yeah.
I don't think he screams that role to me.
Yeah.
Personally. And just things like that. But it is what it is. Like I said, all of that is rumor right now, but we will find out in like a couple, 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know the exact date San Diego Comic-Con happens. Let me see if I can...
And that's all for today. No.
Bye, guys! Let's see. Oh, man. I'm wrong. It's not in June. We got a bit longer than I thought to wait. It's in July. So we got a little bit of time there on that one, but we'll see.
Well, we will see. I'm looking forward to it though.
Same.
I think that's a pretty good place to end it, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I think that was all like the major. I think we touched on all the major stuff I really wanted to hit. I mainly wanted to be able to finish up with telling you.
There's a lot of good stuff coming out. I am excited about this Superman movie. I didn't want to tell you that over text because I wanted to get a little heated first in the podcast because I knew you were going to be like, "So did you like it or do you hate it?" So,
well, I mean, your response, you were like, "Yeah, I saw it."
Yeah,
I was like, "Okay, sorry, I meant to text Daniel, not a robot." You never are that like just unexpressive, even through just words. I was like, yeah, he hated it.
I didn't hate it. No, I actually thought it was a really good trailer. And I have this feeling it's the same story. Now, James Gunn, I mean, he did a fantastic job with Guardians. So
Yeah.
my hopes are high. Maybe, and like, you really have me excited now, and I hope this doesn't get pooped on. But like, if they find a way to work Kryptonite in like that, I'm gonna be like, I'm a Superman fan now. So
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, James Gunn has given me no reason to not trust him right now. So
yeah,
we'll see. It's kind of like the Avatar thing. Like I'm cautiously optimistic for all of these things. Even Fantastic Four, there is a reality where you go into that movie and come out of it and be like, that is not what I thought we were going to get from that movie.
yeah, that's very true.
So I mean, I hate to say it, but that is the truth. So like I said, right now
you got me scared.
we all just gotta cross fingers and hope that we have a fun movie-filled summer. I think it's going to be a blast. I think we're going to be on here gushing about a lot of different blockbuster hits. We didn't even talk about Nobody 2. Nobody
That's
2
right.
dropped a trailer. Did you see it?
No, because I want to
Thank
see
goodness.
Nobody 1 first.
Thank goodness. Okay, I was hoping, but I didn't tell you not to watch it. And when I told you about the trailer, oh, yeah. I was like, crap, he saw it. Dang it.
No, I saw that there was a trailer.
I
but
got you.
Intentionally didn't watch it.
Good.
But yeah, we'll talk about that next time, I guess.
Yeah, we need to do that thing where we watch it and talk about it.
I know, there's so much we got to watch.
I know. Lord of the Rings. The extended cut. That's the only thing real fans watch.
That's right. That's what we're going to watch when you watch it. I hope you know.
Great.
You're going to like it, man. You're going to like it.
I hope.
If you don't, we can't be friends anymore.
Well, then I like it already.
Oh, wait, no. I misunderstood that joke. Anyway.
What you thought I was saying?
I don't know.
Do you think I was saying like, oh, I don't like it, like because I didn't want to be your friend?
Yeah.
No, I want to be your friend.
Oh,
even if I hate it, I'll like it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us for Screenwoven episode 11. Funny thing about 11, it's right after 10. So,
I guess that was funny. To me, at least.
Yeah, that's good. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
Bye.